All right, let's get to the Heisman conversation. I'll be honest. I kind of think there is a case to be made to buy Julian Sayin. I really do. Um, I have been hot and heavy on Ty Simpson from the jump. I think he is the best quarterback in college football. But I'll be honest, my opinion is changing. I think Julian Sayin might have a case for it. He leads college football in completion percentage, and I thought for sure Penn State was going to knock him off his spot and create some havoc over the weekend. And to be fair, they did. Um, the turnover was not Sayin's fault; it was a fumble by the running back. But still, they put themselves in a position to put some pressure on Sayin and cause a little bit of havoc. And Julian just overcame all of it. I mean, it helps when you've got an amazing wide receiving group around you, and Jeremiah Smith and Carnell Tate and Brandon Innes. I mean, these guys are studs. Their offensive line is gettable. I think that's where, in a big game against a really good defense, I do think Sayin is going to have to overcome some pressure. But if you've got a Ty, so I've got Ty Simpson at 17-1. Pretty big ticket. I would buy some Sayin here. I really would. I think if it comes down to it, Mendoza Sayin, I think you're taking Sayin. I just do. First of all, Indiana's schedule was significantly easier. And Julian Sayin, I think, has played better. I think he has the completion rate, his ability to move in the pocket, I think is a little bit smoother. And I just think Ohio State, if you have two undefeated quarterbacks in the Big Ten, Ohio State and Indiana, you're not giving the Heisman Trophy to the Indiana guy. I'm sorry, Fernando. You've had a great year. You might be drafted ahead of Sayin, but Julian, I think, is right now deserves to be the Heisman favorite. But to be fair, Ty Simpson is right there. And I think there's a reason why, even though Simpson has one loss, he's still ahead of a guy like Marcel Reed, who's undefeated, because that's how good of a season Ty Simpson has had. I think if I had to do a ballot today, Sayin 1, Simpson 2, Mendoza 3, and then frankly, I'd put Jeremiah Love ahead of everyone else. I think he's the best player. He's the best overall player in college football. He's 40-1 right now. He's not going to win the award. I made a free bet on him this week at 20-1. He had an unbelievable game and still dropped in the ratings because that's how good of a year Julian Sayin's having, and Fernando Mendoza and Ty Simpson. And you're just not, based on what we've seen in years past, unless it's like a unicorn situation like Travis Hunter, it's just tough not to give it to one of these quarterbacks. So is it too late to buy Julian Sayin? No, I don't think so. Because I think if Ohio State wins out and their schedule is Cupcake City, other than the game at Michigan, I think Sayin wins the award. I think Simpson finishes second. So I might wait till the Michigan week to see what the price is. But I'm probably going to buy some Sayin at some point to balance my Simpson ticket, right? I have 17-1 on Ty Simpson. So right now, Julian Sayin plus 175, Mendoza plus 225, Simpson plus 350. I probably can put a couple of units on Sayin and make 3 or 4 units back and, balance my action on Simpson. I still think there's a chance Ty Simpson wins the award. Because the SEC is just that much better than the Big Ten. And Sayin has so many weapons around him. To be fair, so does Simpson, but Jeremiah Smith and Tate, they're better than what the weapons that Alabama has. And Alabama's been banged up in the running game a lot this year. They haven't run it that well, where Ohio State has run it better, I think. So there's some cases to be made for Simpson, but I think if I had to make the vote today, I think I would give it to Julian Sayin. So that is my Heisman prediction segment for this week. I would buy some Sayin. Not yet, because I think the price will relatively stay the same over the next couple weeks because he doesn't really have any tough games. And I'm curious to see how Simpson handles the next week. Like if he explodes. He hasn't had a huge statistical game yet. What if he explodes against Auburn? What if he explodes against LSU down the stretch? Maybe Simpson can jump him. But I think Simpson Sayin right now, the S&S boys, that would be my 2 picks in the Heisman Trophy race.